Dear students, let us start our fifth module. Fifth module is dealing with advanced JavaScript. In the previous module, we discussed about the features of JavaScript, what are the basic features, how we can create function, how we can include the scripting language in an HTML document. So in this module, we are going to see some of the advanced features that are available in JavaScript. The major contents of this module are browser management and media management, classes, constructors, object-oriented techniques in JavaScript, object constructor and prototyping, subclasses and superclasses, JSON, jQuery, and Ajax. As per KTU syllabus, it takes 9 hours to complete this particular module. Regarding the mark division, 20% of our questions are from this particular module. 20% means it gives a total of 12 marks. So, one essay question as well as 2 short answer questions are from this particular module. Let us start this session with browser object model. So before moving to BOM, I just want to remind you about DOM, document object model. Document object model means whenever a browser loads a web page, the browser treats the corresponding web page as a document object model by considering all the elements in the web page as objects. So what happens in DOM is it creates a tree of objects related to all the HTML tags. So in this advanced JavaScript session, we are discussing the term browser object model, abbreviated as BOM. So in BOM, there are no official standards for the browser object model. Since modern browsers have implemented almost the same methods and properties for JavaScript interactivity, it is often referred to as methods and properties of the BOM. So regarding the BOM, there will be no official standards for defining what BOM is, but most of the modern browsers are having same methods and properties related to JavaScript interactivity, and they are showing same accessibility towards the JavaScript code. So it is often all the methods and properties where the browser supports are termed as the methods and properties of the BOM. The browser object model is used to interact with the browser. This BOM provides access to the various characteristics of a browser window itself, screen characteristics, browser history, etc. So in case of BOM, it provides access to the various characteristics of a browser. So the main idea behind BOM is it is used to interact with the browser. At the same time, BOM provides some characteristics. BOM provides access facilities for the various characteristics of a browser like browser window, browser history, screen characteristics, location, etc. The default object of browser is window, means we can call all the functions of window by specifying window or directly. So the default object of a browser is window, and we can call all the functions of window by specifying the window directly. If a document contains frame, iframe tags, the browser creates one object for the HTML document and one additional window object for each frame. So the default browser or in BOM, the default object of browser is treated as a window, and we can call all the functions related to browser by specifying the term window, or it can be called directly. And if our document is having tags like iframe, frame tags, what happens is the browser creates a window for each frame tag. Suppose if our web page is having 3 frames, so the in browser object model, these 3 frames should be considered as 3 different windows. And here there is an example, and this example is related to how we can access the functions using window. Here window dot alert of hello world, which means that using the window we are trying to produce an alert box with message hello world. Let us discuss the differences between DOM and BOM. DOM stands for Document Object Model and BOM stands for Browser Object Model. In case of DOM, the Document Object Model, which represents the contents of the web page, we can manipulate it using JavaScript. So in Document Object Model, the contents of the web page should be treated as objects, and this thing can be manipulated using JavaScript. So in DOM, whenever a web page is loaded in the browser, the corresponding document object model will be created. And this document object model means it should be a tree of contents present in the corresponding web page. So each HTML tag should be treated as an object here. And in case of browser object model, the BOM operates one level above the web page. It includes browser attributes, example location, and the page becomes a child of browser. So in case of browser object model, this BOM will act as one level above the DOM, and in case of BOM, it will be mainly concentrated on the browser attributes. What should be the height, what should be the weight regarding the browser specification, and it treats the web page as a child of the corresponding browser. So actually we can see that DOM is actually a child of BOM. So BOM is related to the browser where the corresponding DOM should be displayed. The next point is all the objects are arranged as tree structure. There are various APIs provided to access and manipulate the document. So in case of DOM, there are different types of objects. We can see that for an HTML web page, there are different HTML components. So all these components are treated as objects, and these objects are represented in the format of a tree in case of DOM. And there are various APIs provided to access and manipulate the corresponding document. And regarding the corresponding browser object model, all global JavaScript objects, functions, and variables automatically become members of the window object. And in case of this BOM, all the JavaScript global objects, functions, and variables are automatically the members of window objects. So in case of this, what all things we specified globally in a particular JavaScript code, like JavaScript global functions, variables, objects, that will become automatically these members. These things like global objects, global functions, and global variables are automatically treated as the members of the corresponding window object. And in case of DOM, W3C recommendation goes beyond HTML, supports XML and XHTML as well. Functionality wise, DOM is different, and this DOM is recommended by World Wide Web Consortium. It goes beyond the HTML and it supports XML, XHTML as well. So the functionality wise, DOM is very different from other object models. In case of BOM, using BOM, we can modify, move the window, or can change the text in status bar, read the current URL, go back or forward of the current page. And related to BOM, what we are going to have is we can using BOM we can modify a window, or we can move the window forward or backward. We can change the contents in the status bar. At the same time, we can read the current URL. We can go back as well as forward of a particular current web page. From the current web page, we can move forward using this BOM properties, and from the current web page, we can move backward using the BOM properties. These things are available in the browser object model, and these are the main differences between DOM and BOM. In case of DOM, it will be related to the corresponding web page, and in case of BOM, it will be related to the corresponding browser specifications as well as browser windows. Now we can see the BOM object hierarchy. The BOM object hierarchy, the by default in BOM, all the things should be treated as window. So window is the root element in case of BOM hierarchy, and the different objects which are in this hierarchy are navigator, location, document, screen, and finally history. Now we see what is navigator. Navigator is an object which represents information about the browser. Location is considered as another object which relates to information on the current URL. Document, which represents the current web page. Screen, it can be used to display screen width, height, color pixel, pixel depth, etc. And last object is history, which represents an array of URLs visited by the corresponding user. And in this session, we are going to discuss all the objects one by one, and we will explore what all are the functionalities that are available with each object separately. And we will going to discuss these objects, and we can start with the window object. Now the first object, the window object, that is the root object of BOM. The window object is supported by all browsers. It represents the browser's window. All global JavaScript objects, functions, and variables automatically become members of the window object. So all the things described or defined using JavaScript like global objects, functions, and variables are automatically the members of the window object. Global variables are properties of the window object. Global functions are methods of the window object. So what all things are considering globally, that all things are the properties as well as methods of the window object. Global variables means these are the global properties of the window object. Global functions means these are the methods of the window object. Even the document object HTML DOM is a property of window object. So in order to access the corresponding DOM elements, we can specify like this: window.document.get element by ID of header. Window.document.get element by ID of header, and this statement will be same as that of document.get element by ID of header. So in BOM, it will be considered as a property of window, but if you are using it in DOM directly, we can use like this. Both these statements will produce the same output. The first property of window is window size. Two properties can be used to determine the size of the browser window. Both properties return the size in pixels. So first property is window.innerHeight. So the inner height of the browser window can be accessed using window.innerHeight, and it should be represented in pixels. The next property is window.innerWidth. The inner width of the browser window, it should be also represented in pixels. The browser window is not including toolbars and scroll bars. So if you are taking the inner height and inner width, you should not consider the toolbars and scroll bars that are present in the browser window. So for Internet Explorer 8765, we can access this corresponding browser height and browser width using statements like this: document element dot client height, document element dot client width, or the same thing can be mentioned like this: document dot body dot client height, document dot body dot client width. So this statement client height will produces the corresponding inner height of browser window, and client width will produces the inner width of browser window. Client height mentions the client inner height, client width mentions the inner width. Some more window methods are there. Window.open. So this method is used for opening a new window. Then window.close. It is used for closing the current window. Then window.move to. It is used to move the current window. Then window.resize to. It is used for resizing the current window. So for specifying the window size, we are having two properties: inner height, inner width. Additional window methods are window.open, window.close, window.move to, and window.resize to. Here there is an example. In the example, we are trying to access the height of a particular browser. So HTML tag is the body tag is the body contains a paragraph, displays the window size PID is equal to demo, then a script tag is opened, variable W is equal to window.innerWidth. So window.innerWidth specifies the inner width of the corresponding browser, or it can be accessed using document.document-element.client-width or document.body.client-width. All these things will produce the same width value. We can access the inner width of a browser using the statement like window.innerWidth, or it can be accessed using document.document-element.client-width or document.body.client-width. Likewise, the height is accessed. Variable h Variable h is a variable which is used to store the corresponding height value. We equal to window dot inner height, or it can be accessed by the command document dot document element dot client height or document dot body dot client height. Now variable access is equal to document dot get element by id of demo. Actually demo means it is a paragraph with no text value. So x dot inner html, we are trying to fix content towards the empty paragraph. X dot inner html is equal to browser inner window width, that is accessed by the command window dot inner width or document dot document element dot client width likewise. So that width value will be displayed. Then height, it will be displayed using the variable h. Script is closed, body is closed, and HTML tag is closed. So this is a simple example for accessing the width and height of a particular browser. We already mentioned about the different methods that can be used with window.open, window.close, window.resize, and here we can see the window.open method. So window.open of URL, then the name, specs, replace. So four attributes can be specified with open command. First attribute is specifies the URL of the page to be opened. Next, second argument is it specifies name. It specifies the target attribute or the name of the window. Values supported blank. We can, if we are not specifying any particular target name, we can use it blank value. Then specs. comma separated values, loads of options. If we want to specify anything specially, that can be specified in the third argument. Then fourth argument is replace. It specifies whether the URL creates a new entry or replaces the current entry in the history list. True and false values are supported in case of replace. Let us see the window screen properties. The window screen object can be written without the window prefix. So if we want to specify the screen property, we can directly use screen. Instead of mentioning window.screen, we can use like this: screen.width, screen.height, screen.avail-width, screen.avail-height, screen.color-depth, screen.pixel-depth. These are some of the properties of the screen. Here we are having a sample code. In the body of the corresponding HTML, a paragraph with null value. End script is open. Document.getElementId element by id demo.innerHTML is equal to screen width screen.width. So using this scripting expression, it is trying to access the screen width of the corresponding browser, and that will be displayed in the corresponding paragraph with id demo. Next property is window screen color depth. The screen.colorDepth property returns the number of bits used to display one color. So it is color depth is a property associated with the screen. So we can directly access the color depth property using the screen. The screen.colorDepth property returns the number of bits it should be used for displaying one color, and all the modern computers use 24-bit or 32-bit hardware for color resolution. So if you are using 24 bits, this much true different colors are available. If you are using 32 bits, this much a large number of deep colors are also available. Older computers use 16 bits, so it produces only 65,536 different high color resolution, and very old computers and all cell phones use 8 bits, that is 256 different VGA colors. If you want to access the screen color depth, you just specify the element like this or property like this: document dot get element by id demo dot inner html is equal to screen color depth is screen dot color depth. So inside the script tag you just mention screen color depth is screen dot color depth. Just directly we can access the color depth property using the screen keyword. So the corresponding browser's color depth will be displayed. The next is window location. The window location object can be returned without the window prefix. So here also location characteristics can be also used with without the window term. Some examples are window.location.href. So window.location.href returns the URL of the current page. The next property is window.location.hostname. It returns the domain name of the web host. Then window.location.pathname. It returns the path and file name of the current page. The next is window.location.protocol. It returns the web protocol used, whether it is HTTP or HTTPS like that. Then window.location.assign. It loads a new document. So these are some of the properties which are associated with window location. And here having a sample code. So inside the body a header is there which value JavaScript. Another header is there window.location object. Then a null paragraph with ID demo. After that, script tag is there. Document dot get element by id demo dot inner html is equal to the full URL of this page, window.location.href. So what happens is, on which page the corresponding code executed, that web page complete path, complete URL is displayed in the script. This is window location. The next is window location assign. This method loads a new document. Here the example code is there, body of the tag, body of the corresponding web page, then header is there which contains value JavaScript, another header is there which contains the text window.location object, then a button is there, input type is equal to button, value is equal to load new document, on click is equal to new doc. So a button control is there which value load new document. So whenever a click occurs, it will call the new doc function. So we are having the script tag. Inside the script tag, a function is defined. Function new doc window.location.assign https www.google.com. So what happens here it is, whenever this HTML web page is loaded, a header is there, JavaScript, then window.location object, another subheading, then after the subheading a button is there with value load new document. So whenever user clicks that particular button, this function will be executed. As a result of this function execution, google.com web page will be displayed. Okay, now we can see some of the location methods which are used in BOM. Location object provides following methods to load or unload new documents. Some of the properties: window.location.assign. It loads a new document. Then window.location.reload. It reloads the current document. Then window.location.replace. It replaces the current document with a new one. These are some of the location methods: location.assign, location.reload, location.replace. The next property of window is window history. The window.history object can be written without the window prefix. To protect the privacy of the users, there are limitations to how JavaScript can access this particular object. Some methods are history.back. It is same as clicking back in the browser. Then history.forward. It is same as clicking forward in the browser. So window history means what all things the user will do, or what will be the previous uh, searches in the corresponding browser, or which are the different pages loaded. All these things can be accessed using the window.history object. So we cannot use window.history object without the window prefix. To protect the privacy of the users, there are some limitations for JavaScripting to access this particular object. And some methods associated with window history is history.back, history.forward. History.back method mentions about clicking back in the browser. History.forward means same as clicking forward in the browser. See here there are some of the commands or some examples. Window.history.forward. Window.history.forward means it will produces what will be the forward step. Then window.history.back. It will keep the backward history. Then window.history.go of -5. Window.history.go of -5. -5 means that minus, the term minus mentions to backward. So go back 5 times. So the window will move back 5 times from the present value. Then window.history.go of 2. it will move forward 2 times. Then window.history.go, window.history.length minus 1. So window.history.go of window.history.length minus 1. So this is used for accessing the last item. Go last item means this command is used for moving the control towards the last item. The next property associated with BOM is window navigator. Window navigator object can be written without the window prefix. So it can be used with like this: navigator.app name, navigator.app code name, navigator.platform. These are some of the methods associated with navigator. The cookie enabled property returns true if cookies are enabled, otherwise false. Cookies means these are small files associated with browsers for storing the user details. So here we are having an example. So inside the example, the body contains a header called navigator object. Then a paragraph is there which contains text. The cookie enabled property returns true if cookies are enabled. Then a null paragraph is there with id demo. Then after that script is there. Document dot get element by id of demo dot inner html is equal to navigator dot cookie enabled is navigator dot cookie enabled. So here what happens is inside the script it is trying to fix content towards the null paragraph demo. Navigator cookie enabled is, if cookie enabled browser is there, if you are executing this code in a cookie enabled browser, it will give a true value here, otherwise it will give a false value as the result towards the corresponding web page. Here we are having an example with different navigation properties. Document inside the script tag, document.write of navigator app name, which can be accessed using navigator.app name. Then document.write of navigator app code name, it can be accessed using navigator.app code name. The next is document.write of navigator app version, it can be accessed using navigator.app version. The next is document.write of navigator user agent. It can be accessed using navigator.user agent function. The next is document.write of navigator language. It can be accessed using navigator.language function. Document.write of navigator platform. It can be accessed using navigator.platform. Then document.write of navigator cookie enabled. Its value can be accessed using navigator.cookie enabled. So it will produce a true value if cookies are enabled, otherwise it produces a false value. So these are some examples which is related to navigator object. So this is the basics related to the corresponding BOM. The BOM is browser object model. Hope you understood the different criterias in the BOM. Thank you.